Hi, I'm Marilyn Kirshner, the editor-in-chief of The Look Online, and I'd like to welcome you to the New York Fashion Industry Report. Well, New York Fashion Week for spring 2007 is now history, and it looks as if the Bryant Park tents may be as well, now that it's been confirmed that Mercedes-Benz will once again be the sponsor of all upcoming fashion weeks. The pressing issue at hand has to do with recent speculation that IMG may be forced to find a new location for the next round of shows in February, and it certainly looks like the fashion world may be scrambling to find an equally appealing and centralized location for its biannual circus. And that's really a shame because I, for one, have gotten very used to the wonderfully convenient, easy-to-get-to venue of choice. And I thought that everything went especially well this time, and, all the kinks have been ironed out. Citadel security was wonderful as usual, and the guys even managed to smile, which is no small feat considering they're dealing with fashion maniacs for 8 days in a row. And of course, the wonderful weather didn't hurt any because it made it, very inviting to go outside into the park and to find something to eat if you didn't want to sit inside and pay $8 for a witchcraft sandwich, or really $10. It's a location where there are loads of soup and sandwich shops right around, and they had tables set up in the landscape park, so it was really very, very pleasant. If I have any complaints, it's the fact that there's always going to be a group of designers that will not show centrally with everybody else, which is okay if, for example, in the case of Calvin Klein or Yoli, they chose venues that were very close and centralized to the tents. But in the instance of the Deans of American Fashion, Donna and Ralph, who always show on the last day, Friday, the two have always shown, or historically been showing, in very out-of-the-way downtown sites, which wreaks havoc with the schedule, especially if it's pouring rain, which it did on Friday. So, hopefully they can work that out and sort of at least find something that isn't so out of the way, which would help. The other thing are the bleachers and the seats set up in the tents. I understand there's a need for more than just one row, but it seems that the bleachers should be gradated the way they are in a movie theater or in a theater, where basically no matter where you sit, you can at least see the whole package. I mean, what's the point in making the effort to show up at the shows if you're sitting and because of somebody's head in front of you, you basically can't see below the waist, and then you have to go on style.com in order to see what the proportions were, what the hemlines were, what the shoes were. But be that as it may, in terms of the fashion, the idea that so much was influenced by dance and ballet, the irony of that was not lost on me, especially considering that Lincoln Center is being talked about as a very viable replacement for the tents next time around. And are there any worlds other than ballet, dance, modeling, and fashion that are not only so inextricably linked to bulimia and anorexia, but by very nature seem to celebrate and reward unnatural skinniness and provoke, foster, and inherently encourage eating disorders? And also, while everyone was talking about Helmut Lang's unmistakable presence on the runways, can I possibly be the only person who noticed vestiges of the original As 4, which is now As 3, of course, in much of what was shown, including on the runway of Marc Jacobs? If you think about what this creative and forward-thinking group has been churning out from the beginning, and if you think about what their signatures are, it all has to do with a couture approach to streetwear, sportswear, and athletic wear. Inventive spiral cuts, bias cut off-the-shoulder tops and togas, worn with skinny pants, dolman sleeve blouson jackets, curved, rounded, tulip hem skirts and pants, and their signature jodhpur pant, which was basically seen all over the runways, not to mention their reliance on pale neutrals, especially beige and tan and ivory, enlivened with gold, silver, or platinum lame or leather. Sound familiar? And also what I found interesting, you need any more proof that fashion reportage is highly subjective and personal, and it's not an exact science. And the way something hits one person is very different from how it may hit somebody else. while there was definitely consensus of opinion, or it seems to have been, that great sportswear was lacking this time around. I mean, there were lots of dresses, and it was all about the dress. But great American sportswear, that Francesco Costa relied too much on Helmut Lang's archives for his Calvin Klein collection, and Donna Karan's nomadic global tribute was poetic and noble, but all too often not the most flattering or easy to wear. And Marc Jacobs was the undisputed high moment of the week. There were many instances which illustrated a difference of opinion, and this was exemplified by the Rodarte show on Tuesday evening, which I loved. On Thursday morning, in Cathy Horyn's article in the New York Times, she reduced her dismissive review of Rodarte to one short 3-sentence paragraph at the end, basically saying, "These have to be the silliest clothes to come down the pike in a while. There's no point talking about the design of their dresses and suits if the Malevi sisters don't have any sense of proportion." Well, it almost seemed as if she was not seeing the same collection that the people at Women's Wear Daily were watching, because on Thursday, Rodarte was the cover story along with the bold headline, "Can This Dream Be Saved?" accompanied by a full-page picture of one of their dreamy concoctions. The article went on to ponder whether or not fashion still has room for unbridled flights of fancy, as evidenced by the designing sisters who wowed their audience with a dazzling display of romantic grandeur and meticulous craft. Well, I, for one, certainly hope there is. And on that note, I'll see you next time.